Plan B Books in the heart of Glasgow played host to the launch of the latest title from the Planet Jimbot stable. Savant is the first full-colour release from this indie publisher, and writer Jim Alexander explains what readers can look forward to.
Savant is basically an alien character who is on a kind of like an equivalent of a walkabout, but in this case it's a walkabout in various different worlds. The planet that she's from, the actual character's name is called Lode, and she's from the planet called Savant. So effectively what they do is they're kind of like equivalent to the United Nations, what have you, but they basically chronicle events around the universe. So they actually pick up the emotion of the event.
She's part of a race of people who collect memories. Her particular thing is like the memories of the dead. So she's kind of like a herald of trouble. Wherever she goes, there tends to be disaster, that sort of thing.
Lode is a troubled character in the sense of she's become more attracted to sort of like chronicling the life of the dying. So she finds herself doing walkabout around the universe looking for war zones, and she will then chronicle the lives of the dying as they're suffering from fatal injuries, and she'll chronicle the whole life and basically download that. Her father went missing in action. She's been haunted by that. Effectively that's a story idea that actually runs through the whole story arc.
I don't want to give away where it's going, but I saw one review that was wondering how we could possibly maintain the current impetus over the course of a series, and I can say there's a few surprises in the offing.
It's great. It's a kind of action-adventure kind of sci-fi thing.
At its launch, Savant certainly was going down well with those in attendance, and the debut feature had also received positive critical reception too, which has delighted the creative team.
It's just blown me away, to be honest. You never know. I mean, obviously you invest so much time in something and you never know how people are going to react to it. I think it's important for me, Will and Fin, the creative team behind it.
Oh, really pleased. I couldn't be more. It's the sort of thing that keeps me up in the wee small hours, but it's been really pleasant to read them, and people saying things which I personally took to heart and really sort of I took as real compliments. And I think people are actually enjoying it. It's really, really pleasant.
For me it's a bit of a mystery. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff, I've been writing for a long time, and if I could actually come to the bottom of how this has captured so much really good reviews and a lot of people's imagination, I would bottle it quite happily, but it has been a pleasant surprise more than anything else, yeah.
I think it's a really nice piece of work, and I'm really pleased with the reception it's had, because everybody seems to have really gotten into it.
It's evident from the final product that Jim, Will and Fin all work well together, and the creative team admit that producing issue 1 of Savant turned out to be a very fluid process.
Working with Jim as a writer is very easy. He gives me a lot of latitude to change things, interpret things, just to make the page better, because he trusts me and I trust him.
I think when you're dealing with people like Will and Fin, the way it works out is you do the full script and then they come back and I'll do the re-dialogue and I'll play about with it.
Probably the best script I've seen from another writer, let alone Jim, that I've worked on in years, and Fin makes me look like a god, so it's great.
Will's line work's so crisp and so clean that I didn't want to sort of muddy it and make it indistinct, because it's really sort of like clear and easy to read. So I thought maybe something quite sort of not too flat, but quite flat and quite clear and vibrant would be a nice kind of way to work with him.
The actual construction process of the page, there's a whole lot that you don't see, but getting it to look that simple is hard work.
Will will have basically finished the pages by the time I see them, and he often sends me things. He'll send me a perfect page, but he'll also send me, like, if he's keen for a certain special effect to work one way, he'll put it through maybe as a separate piece, and it kind of it's really nice. It's quite informal. It's quite an informal thing to be a part of.
Savant looks to be another strong release from a Scottish independent publisher at a time when the industry seems to be heading in the right direction. And the guys are delighted to be part of a flourishing scene, not just in Glasgow, but in Scotland as a whole.
It's great because it's bewildering as well. I mean, you've got a lot of creators here today. We've got Alec Ronald, who's actually done the cover of the trade. He's here basically to pick up a copy, which is just fantastic. You people like Andrew Docherty, loads of guys that are involved in that. I mean, when you go outside Glasgow, it's a much tougher sell. I mean, it just seems to be like there's something about Glasgow now, the zeitgeist, if you like, that kind of like a feeling for the actual subject matter of comics and stuff is a viable means of putting your story across, and it's absolutely brilliant. It's just a fantastic, febrile, energetic market be in, and I think, to be honest, every time you put something out, you're always conscious of that's your immediate competition. You really have to up your game, really, to rub shoulders with these guys. You know,
we're quite lucky in that it's all sort of come together at the moment, and people are getting profile, and there's a real impetus behind it.
I mean, I think it's a really healthy thing. I think it's really happening in Scotland as well, which is really pleasant. Like it's really cool to see it happening, and people's work is just getting like so good. You know, the gap's closing, I think, really, and the sort of range of people's tone of voice is coming through. You know, it's not all got to be like one fad. Like it's more like music now. I think it's much more casual, and people just tell the stories they want to tell the way they want to.